wanted to say that I told Rav David Newman today, Shirley, about your idea, and he was flying high. Flying high. When I met him today, I said there was an idea I didn't present at the weekend just because we didn't do it yet. It's like it wasn't on my mind. He said, "What is it?" I said that one of the guys in the Chabura sent out a voice note. He was flying. He was flying. So to make Rav David Newman fly is not so simple. Not so simple. So Baruch Hashem, halavai weiter. With that note, let's pick it up.
Like much. I mean, like he was flying.
Well, that was
Sunday night.
This was.
Got his. It wasn't really. He didn't.
Oh no.
Just fire.
No.
You can have
Yeah.
people to roll with
Yeah.
and then just the comment from Swiss starting.
Yeah.
People were saying you should.
I think the trend I'm starting is the person who does the voice note could then nominate the next person.
That is a
I got,
That's my move.
I got the ball rolling. I've nominated Menachem.
That's
He
my
said
move.
he can't come in until he knows the mission.
That's-
More motivation.
No, that's my move. I do it. I in this past summer when I called on boys to read, and they all go, "Chris, you're calling me." I said, "You know what? You read, you get to call the next guy." So okay, let's rock and roll. So we're up to Lamidalid Amid Aleph. We just finished 3 different drashos in Arvei Nachal. We're learning about Arava. This is, we would call it subject number 3 in the Mishnah, in the parak, excuse me. This is subject number 3 in the parak. We started with Lulav.
Case. The entire
Started with Lulav. We went to Hadas, and now we go to Arava. And of course, we begin Arava with what? What is a Arava? What is a Arava? Says the Gemara, Arava is Arvei Nachal. Arvei Nachal. And what is Arvei Nachal? We have 3 different drasha. Drasha number 1, Arvei Nachal, is Gedilin al HaNachal. It grows in the river. Drasha number 2 is that it's long like a Nachal. And drasha number 3, which is what we're in the middle of, drasha number 3 is Arvei Nachal includes everything. Arvei is in plural. And we're actually, those are the 3 in the Chacham. Okay, let's get this clear. I'm sorry, I said 3, it's really 4. 3 in the Chachamim on the bottom of the Gimel Beis, one more time. It grows on the river, it's long like a river, and Mikol Makim Arvei is plural. Those are the 3 in the Chachamim. On the top of Lamed Daled Amud Aleph, we begin with Abba Shaul. And Abba Shaul over here has a new drasha. Abba Shaul's new drasha is Arvei Shtayim, which if we're listening, it's very similar to the last drasha we just had, right? The last drasha we just had was Arvei Mikol Makim, was the plural of Arvei, was Mikol Makim.
3.
That was basically 3. Yes. Now Abba Shaul comes along and he says Arvei is Shtayim. But what type of Shtayim?
Too, because they said Ainli Ella Arvei Nachal. Then said Mikol Makom was the other one. As in
Other 2 he's saying Baal and Harim and the Arvei Nachal. That's what he's saying.
Arvei Nachal seems like a
It's pushing. Yeah. I mean, 2 extras. Correct. 2 extras. 2 extras. 2 extras. 2 extras.
Anybody ask about why we have to, if we say almost the same thing in every mission, why we can't?
Oh, okay, good. So let's speak out this hara for a moment. Let's look at the first Rashi. The first Rashi.
The Gemaras are going on each one.
The first Rashi. Look at the first Rashi in on the Mishnah. Rashi says, "Arava gzulav yaveshapsu." Zok Rashi, "Lelulav dilachem akulukai." So what does Rashi mean? Rashi says a lot of these 5 words. Rashi says 4 words. Number 1 is a lilulav. What type of arav are we talking about? The arav of lulav, which is going to be a segue into what we're talking about today, which we're about to get to the other arava, which is the Beis Hamikdash. Great. Number 1. Number 2 is, why can't you have arav gzula? The Gemara doesn't talk about it. The reason is because it's the same din of lulav. That's really yesterday. Shirley said, look at Rashi. It was this Rashi. Rashi says, lechem of lulav points to arav. Now, Rav Yaakov, to answer your question, is why do we have separate Mishnayos? Is the reason we have to remember that Mishnayos and Gemara for that sort was Torah Shebal Peh. So if you had to memorize everything, how do you memorize everything? You categorize it in your brain. So you do lulav and all lulav dinim, hadasa and all hadasim and all hadasim dinim, arava and all arava dinim. That's l'chayr the pashib shot. Why we have 7 mishnayos, even though it's repetitive. But either way,
Gemaras are addressing different
correct,
topics with each
correct,
one.
correct. And
If
then
you would have lumped it into one.
again,
Mishnah, it would-
mishnayos. The truth is, this
wouldn't
is
have been
this is a-
organized.
it's a beautiful exercise which we could do. Every time you have a mishnah, mishnayos were the original, and then came the Gemara. If you have a mishnah, oh God bless you, Nachi, thank you very much. If you have a mishnah, the Gemaras are always just explaining the mishnayos. So just to figure out the mishnah is the whole Gemara. So Abba Shal, thank you very much. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'akol nihiyeh b'dvarei.
Hey,
Wow. God outdid himself. It's freezing. Abba Shal Omer. Okay.
so give us a-
Zok tehillah Abba Shal. Arve is shtayim. Now, what shtayim? It's a different type of shtayim, right? We just said shtayim or shalosh, as we pointed out here. That was referring to where it grows. Here, the shtayim is the type of arava. Arve is shtayim. Achas lelulav, va'achas le-mikdash. One of the lulav and one of the Beis HaMikdash. We don't know what the arava of the Beis HaMikdash is yet, but Emir Hashem will get there soon enough. But we know that there's 2 different types of aravas. There's arava of the lulav and arava of the Beis HaMikdash. Says the Gemara, v'Rabbanan le-mikdash minalu. Where do the Rabbanan know about the arava of the Beis HaMikdash? Because the Rabbanan already used up the pasuk. The Rabbanan used up the word Arvei Nachal multiple
on
times.
a Rabbanon.
But there's still no word left to teach us the Mikdash. So where do the Rabbanan know the Arava of the Beis HaMikdash? Answers the Gemara, guess what? They don't have a Makar. There is no pasuk, there's no source. So how do they know it? Pencils out? Pencils out? Just keeps it, doesn't like, these are the 0.3. These are 0.3. Go for the 0.5. 0.3s are not for the faint of heart.
Yeah, how about the Kinyan?
0.3 are not for the faint of heart. 0.3 is a shtick. I don't know. The boys like 0.3s, but I have to be like you. They crack too simply. I'm with you. I'm a good old fashioned 0.5 here. Either way, says the Gemara. You know why? Hilchasa gemira lehu. It's a halacha leMoshe miSinai, which we see something fascinating. Halacha Moshe miSinai doesn't need psukim. Doesn't need psukim. Moses taught it from God on Sinai, and that is the Makar. Fascinating. The Omar Rav Asi, Omar Rav Yechanan, as we find the Rav Asi, the name of Rav Yechanan, Eser Nitiyos, 10 plants. Now, this din of 10 plants, we're not going to explain. It's a din, which for now we're just going to know it's a din of 10 plants. Eser Nitiyos. It's a headline. Kama. Arava, the din of Arava. Kama. V'nisach hamayim, the din of nisach hamayim. These 3 dinim, halacha leMoshe miSinai, period. If you glance to the right of your page, you see an incredibly lengthy Rashi, and Rashi goes through each of these 3 entities, explaining what they are and how they are halacha Moshe miSinai. For our purposes right now, Nisach Hamayim means just Nisach Hamayim. That's a headline. What does it mean literally? It means pouring water. Nisach Hamayim was a very unique avodah. On the Mizbeach, there were 2 holes in the Mizbeach. Generally, they did something called Nisach Hayayin. They poured wine into the base of Mizbeach. There were twice a year that they poured water in the base of Mikdash of the Mizbeach. One of those actually was on Sukkot, but that's not our conversation right now. That's not at the Simchas Beis HaShoeva. That was a special avodah that they did, which we will get to. But for now, what do we need from this?
What are we touching? As per
Arava,
the
yeah.
Tiyos?
Arav is what we're seeing. Asanatiyos means literally 10 plantings, 10 saplings. What is it? It is a shtickle complicated din. It's the size of a field, which regarding to Cholamayit and Shemitah, irrelevant to us right now. We need to know Arava, that's what we need. Tana Rabbana, period. So he comes out, if we were to ask, what is the Makar for Arava in the Beis HaMikdash? It's a machlaikas. Either Arvei Nachal, according to Abba Shaul, or Halacha L'Moshe Misin.
We have to ask, where does Abba Shaul learn enough in the Talmud? So he's using Arve to teach us Arve Mikol Mavsha.
Very good. Very good.
No, the Rabbanan were the first ones.
Abba Shaul doesn't. He's saying he's learning Arvei.
Look at Taisvis. Ramnayach, beautiful. Look at the second Taisis on the page. Second Taisis on the page. V'Rabbanan lemikdash minalu hachinami matzah lemibai. We also could have asked Labashol Shalbal v'Shalharim minalu. Question mark. What's Taisis Teretz? I do not know, but it's a good kasha. It's Taisis kasha, and we'll leave it at that. I had a Rebbe who I always have a curse of type to, who used to say, if you know it's Taisis kasha, it's good also. You don't have to know every teretz. It's good. It's a good kasha. It's a good hara. Now we can go back with the Gemara. I will look at Taisis and Mirta Sham. I didn't look at it, so I don't know.
Go very quickly. He says like in Konami, maybe he doesn't hold.
Yeah, so I'll tell you what I was going to ask. Before I saw it was Taisis, I was going to answer that Lemaisa, sometimes the Gemara finishes the game of Gemara ping pong, and sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it throws the ball back, and I think that's sort of what Taisa is saying, like, okay, maybe he doesn't, which, okay, we'll get. Tana Rabbanan, here we go, says the Gemara, Arvei Nachal, Hagedilois, Al Hanachal. What does it mean? It grows on the river. Prat, this excludes the lit sapsifa, the round leaf sapsifa, which we had in the Mishnah, Hagedila, which grows where? Bein Harim, between the mountains. So now we know, when we read the Mishnah, we saw this thing called sapsifa, which was psula, and we wondered in the Mishnah, why is it possible? Who cares that the leaves are round? We saw Rashi, and Rashi didn't tell us where. He says you're going to learn it from a pasuk. Guess what? Now we know the pasuk. The same pasuk, ironically. Our Arvei Nachal pasuk. This is currently our fifth potential drasha, if you're keeping math, of what we learn out from this pasuk. Right? 5. 3 of the Chachamim on the bottom of the base. 1 of Abba Shaul, potential. I say not everyone might hold of that. And number 5 over here is Arvei Nachal Gedilei Sal Nachal, excluding a sapsava which grows in the mountains. Amar Rav Zira, says Rav Zira, my kara. What is the pasuk? Now, what's the kasha?
You just said the plus.
We just said the pasuk that what?
Arvei Nachal.
Good. So what's the kasha?
Right.
What's the kasha? We just said a pasuk. So look at Rashi. Rashi, 3 lines into the medium-sized lines. My kara, says Rashi. Titzafsafa ligriusa. That safsafa is negative. Ligriusa means bad. But what do you mean? V'loi mina de'aravi. And it's not a type of arava that what? Dinarabaya, that we could include it. Be'arvei mikol makoim. Rashi saying something beautiful. We have a balance. On one hand, we learned down here, Arve Mikol Makom. It could grow anywhere. On the other hand, we're learning has to be a river and not a mountain. 1 second. Well, what's going on over here?
Harim is a mountain.
But why? Oh, very good. Harim's a mountain. The bottom of the Gemara said, Shel Harim, it's kosher. Our Gemara says, Safsafa is possible. Why? Because it's Harim. That doesn't make any sense. Says Rashi, that's Rav Zira's kasha. Beautiful. Again, one more time. The Gemara on the bottom said if it grows in the mountains, what is it? Kosher. Why is it kosher? Arvei mikol makom. Our Gemara just taught us what? Arvei means it has to grow in a river and not a mountain. Well, you just said a yes grow in a mountain. Is it yes mountain or no mountain? Is it yes safsva or no safsva?
I still want to know why we need a pasuk. Rashi answered the question.
No, it didn't.
It's not a min arava.
That's the pasuk is going to prove to us that it's not a min arava. Very good.
I need a pasuk to tell me.
Yes. How do we know?
I need a pasuk to tell me this isn't an arava.
Well, we don't know what a rava is. Of course, we're still within. We're still in the introduction part. You're right, Ramnayach. You're right. Once we get there, right? Remember we said what's a lulav, what's a this. We don't know what it is. So now we're saying what's an arava. So we're in the middle of learning what an arava is, and we're now explaining that an arava is not a safsfa, because an arava is not a safsfa, it's excluded. Again, did I lose that one? Let's just take one step back for a second. The Gemara in the bottom of the Amud said what? Down here. What did the Gemara say? Arve is everything, including what? Grows in the mountains.
And Shahar.
Over here, we just had a Gemara that said, Arve Nachal grows in a river, excluding the Safsfa. Why? It grows in a mountain. Pause. Before you it's between the mountains. Before we get to Rav Zeir, we should have all had a kasha. I should have also, I didn't have it. I'll take blame for this one.
Wasn't everything all included?
Oh, didn't we just have a second ago telling us the mountains is good? So Rav Zeir says, my kar'ah. What is the pasuk? Rashi says Rav Zera is a loaded statement. What's he bringing us a pasuk? We just had a pasuk. He's going one step deeper. We had a pasuk, but the pasuks are really contradictions. On one hand, it includes harim. The other hand, it excludes harim. Comes along Rav Zera, fundamental, my kara, meaning, what is this item? If the item is not an arava, like Noach, you're right. If the item is a Poland Spring bottle, it grows in the mountains, the Poland Springs. It's not an arava. Why not? Because it's fundamentally not an arava. So when Rav Zera says, my kara, what's he saying? Prove
What
to
are we
me
learning
that it's
from
not
the
an arava. That's what he's proving to me.
We said, I can't maybe spoken on out last time. We said Arvin means there's a specific criteria.
Oh, the leaf.
Leaf.
Yeah, the Gemara said, very good.
We said it in
The last narrow line. Moshoch kinachal.
right.
Oh. That's a good kasha. That's a good kasha. That's a very nice kasha.
Oh, so then Sam.
Very nice kasha.
So maybe that's the terrorist.
That's a very nice kasha. That's a very nice kasha. That's a very nice kasha. I don't have the answer
The
to that.
terrorist. The Tzafzafa is one.
That's what we said before the terrorist. That's
Friend.
the kasha. It's a very nice kasha. We're about to read Rav Zera. What's Rav Zera teaching us? What's the pasuk? Meaning, prove to me that it's not an arava. No, it says 1 second. The Gemara already told us Arve Nachal that has leaves that are long like a Nachal. What's a Safsafa? Leaves which are round. So why do we need another pasuk that we're about to bring to teach me that it's not an arava? It doesn't look like an arava. It's a very good question. Maybe. I don't know. I think what the answer is, if you go back over here, the Gemara says Tana Rabbanu. Arvei nachal hagedilan al nachal. Dovar acher, arvei nachal, it's long like a nachal. Tanya idoch, arvei nachal mikol makayim. Tanya idoch might be arguing on mashal kenachal. And we're going in the Tanya idoch. Maybe. But you're asking a good kasha, a very good kasha. Let's just get into Rav Zera's teretz. Mayerdik, my kara. I think we have a lot of clarity in what the kasha was. Says the Gemara, kach al mayim rabim. Take something that is on a lot of water and safsafa shemai. And its name is safsafa. That this item is a safsafa. Meaning, what is it not? It's not an arava. Rashi says a little bit deeper that this is an avu on Yecheskel, and Yecheskel is saying it in a negative, that you're only going to be like a safsafa, which means you're not going to be choshev like an arava. Okay, let's leave that for a moment. Right, safsa not arava. Let's go one more dot further. Says Gemara, Amarle Abaye, 1 second. The Dilma, perhaps, Perushe Kamefarish. Maybe the pasuk's just explaining itself. Kachal mayim rabim. Take something that grows in a lot of water. Omayniu safsafa. Meaning, what it grows in a lot of water, an arava. And what's another name for an arava? A safsafa. Mayir take a kasha. Says the Gemara, 1 second. Imkain, my shemai. It's almost funny.
Why are we calling it Tzafzafa?
Safsafa shemai. The pasuk says shemai. That's the word in the pasuk. Look up. Kach hamayim rabim safsafa shemai. Well, it doesn't work. Kach hamayim rabim, and what is it? A safsafa shemai. Well, just have an actual word in the Navi. The fact that safsafa shemai means that this item is a safsafa, not that it's just another name of it. This is what it is fundamentally. And therefore, what is it not? It's not an arava. Let's just read this. I know we're up to Ma'ariv. I'm just going to read quickly. the last 8 lines instead of the chazar. I'll just read it again because we just read it disjointed. Let me just read it one time straight. Again, Abashalom Arvi Shtayim Achas Lulav Achas Lemikdash V'Rabbanan Lemikdash Minalu Hilchos like a Mirila Alach L'Moshe Sinai Dom Ravasi Rabbi Yechron Esther Natias a din of 10 saplings Arava Nisa Chamayim pouring the water Alach L'Moshe Sinai period. Tan Rabbanan one more brayse Arvi Nachal like Dilas Al Nachal grows on the river. Prat that excludes with Safsafa that what? Hagadila ben Arim. Amr Rav Zira Maikara. And we have a beautiful understanding of the depth of Rav Zira's kasha is, wait, do we include growing on the mountains or do we exclude growing on the mountains? Answers the Gemara, Kach Amayim Rabim Safsafa Shemai, proving to us that it's not an Arava, it's a Safsafa. Says Abaye, wait, I'm the Abaye, then we'll Brushik Mefarish. What is this item that goes on Mayim Rabim Savspa? Says Mari can't be Mkain. My shit my ridik.
You say just say Kach my Rabbi my name Savsa. Stop right there. Don't even say Shema.
Yeah, meaning if Savsavol was just describing what is the item that's Kach Mayim Rabim, should say Kach Mayim Rabim Savspa.
Right.
Fact is Savspa Shemai shows that it's its own item. Very good.
Shouldn't we be confused with Arava?
Yes, very good. Mayur Dik. Okay, Shkoyach
I think
Chevra.
that probably